a lot of conditions that a lot of other doctors diagnose as irreversible. So when I opened my practice, I very early on, what inspired me to get into practice in the first place was my mom being diagnosed with cancer and doctors telling her she had less than a 50% chance to live. And so when I was able to see my mom reverse her own cancer naturally without chemo, without surgery, without radiation, that's one of the things that really inspired me to go after and help people that go to their doctors and are diagnosed with everything from type 2 diabetes to hypothyroidism to autoimmune disease. And many doctors telling them, you either have to be on this pill the rest of your life or this condition can't be reversed. And I found that 99% of conditions can be medically reversed where patients don't need to be on medication if they are doing the right things in terms of, in terms of nutrition, supplementation, lifestyle changes, they can reverse those conditions. But yeah, it's been about close to 20 years now.
And with your mother, was there anything specifically that you did which worked for her?
Yeah, yeah. I think my focus is very much going into and reading the scientific literature about what is the root cause of the issue. And when you read a lot of the literature over the past 50 years, you're going to find a lot of things related to lack of oxygen in the cell, sugar feeding cancer, inflammation being a big part of it, hormone imbalances, in fact, excess estrogen, things like that, or other sort of hormonal imbalances all feed different types of cancer. In my mom's case, specifically, the first time she had cancer, it was breast. The second time it was lung. And so knowing that cancer feeds off of sugar, we immediately removed all sugar from her diet for the most part. I mean, she did some beets and carrots and a few berries, which do have a small amount of naturally occurring sugar, but we removed really all other sugar from that. And then we really looked at oxygenating her cell. We looked at supporting and healing her mitochondria. And so her diet really consisted of uh, a small amount of protein. It was mostly wild caught fish with a little bone broth. And then from there, it was a lot of vegetables. We did a mixture of cooked vegetables, raw, juiced. We did liver. This was used in a therapy called Gerson therapy, which is a specific dietary protocol. And then there's also some ideas around flooding the body with potassium and other nutrients. And so we really focused on what are the most nutrient dense foods. It's berries, it's vegetables, it's wild organic meat, specifically liver and salmon in her case, and then doing a lot of herbals. And so we focused on reducing inflammation. We focused on reducing oxidative stress. One of the biggest reasons why cells become cancerous is that these high levels of whether it be toxins or oxidation via things like sugar start to damage the cells. And when you damage the cells, they're more likely to become cancerous. And so by doing high levels of certain types of antioxidants, you start to protect the cells and help them heal. And so we did a lot of antioxidants, a lot of turmeric, a lot of reishi mushroom, uh, numerous things. And the other big thing, and I'll tell you, the biggest thing people overlook with cancer therapies is the emotional health aspect. One of my biggest areas of study over the past 15 years has been Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. And when you look at Chinese medicine, they know that different emotions cause disease in different organ systems. When people think today about disease, they tend to think, oh, it's my genetics. Genetics have such a small part of what is contributing to your health issues. Now, again, I'm not saying it's not a role, but epigenetics work like a light switch. They have to be turned on via lifestyle. And so if you can do the right things via lifestyle, if you have cancer genes, those never get turned on in the first place. And so I'll give you an example of this in terms of how emotions affect our health. We know for a fact, everybody knows this one, if you have a lot of fear, that affects the adrenal glands, right? Your body starts producing cortisol, adrenaline, these different stress hormones. But in a very similar way, if you have a lot of worry affects the digestive system. So if you're worrying, if you're studying, if you're overthinking, that affects your digestive system. If you have anger, resentment, unforgiveness, that impacts your liver, gallbladder, and lymphatic system. If you have think about anxiety, what happens? Your blood pressure starts to go up. And so that affects your heart and cardiovascular system. Loss or grief or sadness, something that's happened in the past you haven't been able to let go of, that affects your lungs, your colon, and your immune system. And so with my mom worried a lot. She had a lot of fear. And so we really focused on faith for her, on prayer, on meditation, on letting go of her fears, confronting fears that she had. And we, I think a lot of times when people have a health issue, they try and go at it from one angle. So it's like, okay, I've got diabetes. I'm going to try and cut sugar or just eat less calories. And my philosophy is, okay, well, that's one strategy. Let's go ahead and remove the sugar. But let's also really focus on high protein, high fiber, high fat, and very nutrient dense foods. Let's make sure we're getting all the nutrients you need, like chromium, magnesium, vitamin D, and zinc, which help repair the pancreas. And then let's do all the other therapies we can, everything from hyperbaric or infrared light or weight training specifically to start to rehab and heal the pancreas. And I found when somebody puts together a holistic protocol where they're hitting on the nutritional piece, the supplement piece, the emotional piece, the sort of lifestyle piece, then people heal much more readily and much more completely.